Welcome. This short video will explain the use of parameters and pick lists in presenter reports. Parameters are used in reports to restrict or filter that data that is displayed on a report. For example, if you had a data source providing all payouts to a report and you only wanted to show reports for a selected payee and period, you would add a date and a payee parameter to allow the report viewer to select which payee and period to view. Parameters are visually represented on reports as a pick list or a fill-in-the-blank. The parameter acts like a placeholder for information that will be selected by the report viewer. When creating a new parameter, the following information can be added. First, name the parameter. Next, select the type of data that will be stored in the parameter. The options are text, date or numeric. Next, if you want a default value to be displayed when the parameter is appended, select value. Otherwise select user entered. Next, specify where the default value will be stored. The required parameter box, if checked, indicates that a parameter must be selected before the report will display. The Use Current Web User box, if checked, will populate the payee ID of the logged-in user as the payee parameter. Now, let's examine how to create parameters. We will create two parameters for this report, a payee parameter and a period parameter. Right-click the Parameters folder and select Add Parameter. Name the parameter. We don't need to change any other settings for this parameter, so we will click OK. Now, create the period parameter. You can see the parameters that have been created under the Parameters folder. Once the parameters have been created, we need to have a way to populate the parameters. Remember, the parameter is just a placeholder and the report viewer will need to populate that parameter with a selection from a pick list. Some examples of pick lists are shown on this slide. Let's add the payee pick list. Right-click in the blank cell and select Add Pick List Control. We will name the pick list PL Payee. The source supplies the values for the pick list. In this case, we have a source that lists the payees and names. Here we will select source payees as a source that will populate the pick list. The pick list typically returns the ID field from the source. In this case, that would be the payee ID. The payee ID may not be descriptive enough to allow report viewers to choose from. Instead, we can also show a description field in the pick list that will show the payee name. From the source, we will choose the payee name. Next, we need to tell the pick list where to store the value that we selected from the pick list. In this case, it will be stored in the parameter payee. In this example, the ID column is the payee ID. We don't want this value to show in the pick list, all we want to see is the payee name. We have the option to hide the ID column from the drop-down list in the pick list. The Hide Value for Export option allows hiding the value that was selected in the pick list when exporting a copy of the report to be printed. Now let's add the period pick list. Name the pick list. The source for this pick list is source period. The period ID field is descriptive enough, so we will use that for the description. The value that is selected from the pick list will be stored in the parameter PA period. Last, we will choose to hide the ID column. In order to save the pick lists that were created, you must add a Submit button to the report. We will add the Submit button below the pick lists. Right-click in the blank below the pick lists. You have the option to pick what you want to appear as a label on the Submit button. Here is the Finish Submit button. Last, we will test the pick lists in the report. You will want to have run a calculate on the model before testing to ensure that the report is populated with values. Before we can preview the report, we need to set the parameters. This would normally be done in the report, but the pick lists are not active in preview mode. We need to activate the parameters. Then, Select the parameter value. This is what would be selected from the pick list on the report. Here we will select P009 for the preview. Now we will preview the report. Click on the Preview tab. Now we can test the pick lists to determine if they are being populated with the correct values. As you can see, both pick lists are function and the values from the parameters can be used to filter data in the report. We hope you have found this training useful. Thank you.